Hi guys, I'm here at Key West and I've just got this new product called ShadeX from Aerosoft. It sounds like the name of a product of so many other products that we've seen to try to address the colors, the lighting in X-Plane. This is a new one, and it's, you know, it does some things that some of those other shader programs do. In general, it doesn't have a performance hit in general. I think there's one setting that does have a performance hit. It's depth of field, I believe it is. But uh, it allows you to change the colors. And I'm just sitting here. It's early morning and just debating on what flight I want to take. And I'm looking. I've been sitting here tinkering with it and things like that. In some ways, it's just another shader program. In some ways, it's a game changer, I think. I like the fact that the performance hit is minimal. I think it takes about one frame. According to a plugin manager, it takes about one frame away. I didn't actually see any frame loss, but that's what it's reporting, so there it is. This is default X-Plane that you're looking at right here, and it's real easy to see how your changes are affecting the look of the sim, and I'll run through a couple of these real quick here, and then I'll go into the airplane and we'll look there, and then I'll switch to nighttime so you can see what the differences are. Okay, so this is default. Let's switch over to, I've made they come with a whole bunch of presets. I'll run through. Here's California. This one looks pretty good, except it's certain situations it doesn't look so good, especially at night. This is clarity. That looks really good, actually, but still kind of on the dark side. This is color focus. I think that's too much color, even though that makes this grass look good. I think this grass is off color, so I don't think it's a good representation of things. I think, I suspect that at some point X-Plane will integrate something like this into X-Plane. Or at least they'll integrate a shader that's very close to some of the settings that you'll see. There's color focus. Playing with depth of field, that's just generic X-Plane, I think, with depth of field turned on, which you really can't see from this distance. But it's a pretty strong effect. So depth of field is here. Yeah, so I haven't really used it very much. Let's see. So let's go next. Lifted red. Really? Very dark. Lifted yellow. Lock stock. By the way, to see what X-Plane would look like compared to one of these presets, you simply click the name. So all they did here is they added some vignette around the edges, I think. Well, let's see. You can see the near blur and the saturation changes. So you can see that if I turn all of these things on, you can see where they've changed things. So the middle is generic X-Plane. Miami, dark, very dark. Nord. So comparing that to X-Plane, less green, more blue. Old school, right? If you want to fly World War II fighter jets and feel like you're actually in a black and white world. Psyched. Okay, pure. These are all the ones that come with it. Sepia. Sharpen. Difference there. Very subtle difference. Gets my CPU fans going. I don't know why. Strong. This is not too bad. Still on the dark side. But the colors look right. Technicolor. And vibrant. And this one is the one I consider the most the most realistic out of all of them. Um, okay, and then I've made a couple of presets myself. So this is my first preset. This is the one I was messing with last night. You see how this grass doesn't match up with other greens here. And then here's my second one. Let's see, so here's the first one. Second one. A little less saturation is really all that is. A little less contrast, I mean. And that was the one I was using last night, so I brightened things up. And it's, you know, it affects things globally. It doesn't have any near or far or inside the cockpit or outside the cockpit, any kind of thing like that. So it's just the way it is. So if you affect one thing in a positive way, you're affecting something else possibly in a negative way. But overall, I think the effect is positive if you find a set that works for you. So if you get this product and you want to use my presets, there they are. You can see them on your screen. Just pause it and set them. And so let's go down to the airplane. So this is what this airplane looks like. Let's go back to X-Plane default. That's X-Plane default. See outside it looks hazy. It looks kind of cloudy. And there's, to me, that looks like more of a bright day. There is a difference here between these two, but really the difference is the color. So I'll spin around so we can take a look at this over here. Again, default X-Plane. It doesn't look bad, it's just cloudy. And then that looks more like a bright day to me. As you can see, it's, if I go to noon, looks like, and let's look at what X-Plane looks like at noon. Looks like there's a solar eclipse. Let's go towards evening. Okay. And let's see what that looks like. Let's go to X-Plane default. And then let's go on to night. And really, you know, I mean, if you go outside the airplane here, take a look. Actually, back up. Oops. Go back up. There we go. And the runway lights disappear here, but this is Orbix doing this, because if I switch to default, see, they're still doing it, so that's not a thing. So this is what the runway lights look like on mine, my latest one. And there's default. And I am using a light mod, by the way, so it's what I got on. It's called Nightlighting Professional. I think it's free off the .org. But that's what it looks like. So, you know, that's we can go a little higher and then I'll bring up daylight again. And truly, you know, I mean, part of me wants to say that the X-Plane settings are just wrong. You know, I mean, we've always suffered. FSX had the same issue, eternal cloudy day, and you know, X-Plane has suffered from the same thing. So let's look this way. Look at the water. This is near midday, not quite. See? I noticed when I was flying into Key West last night in the TBM. I noticed a lot more things. I mean, it was apparent that there was a big difference, and this was towards evening. So if I go here, it wasn't that dark. I don't know, I think maybe the contrast brought these buildings up more. And, you know, that's the difference between these two and, you know, this one and this one. You can see, you know, that's a blue tennis court. It really stands out. I don't know, I'm not sure which I'm going to go with. I think this one's more realistic. But sometimes I like that. Very subtle change. And there's default. Which, you know, it's not too bad for end of day. But, you know, that's just a difference. Visibility is more than 10, so there's, you know, it might mean there's some haze out there, I don't know. And so if I go back at the cockpit, by the way, a couple of other things since I'm doing this. Let's go back to night. And I'm going to turn on the power. Oh, you can't. That's a weird thing about this software. It's got an overlay. You can't click buttons. You can rotate knobs, but you can't click buttons. So I'm going to temporarily close that. And I'm going to turn on the power. This is what cockpit looks like, and it looks pretty real. You know, that's pretty good. And then I'm going to bring this light down. And this background light, by the way, is caused by those floodlights behind us. So it may be a poor location for this test. Let's see, are there any other lights on? No, I don't think so.
TAWS system test. Okay.
But, you know, it looks good. You know, there's no weird lighting effect going on in here. The one negative to this is, at least with the TBM, I'm having an issue with the screen.
TCAS test.
It takes a while to start up. It takes, you know, like the airplane loads, you can hear the airplane in the background, and it takes another minute. You just have to sit there and wait it out, and then it pops up. I had one screen go black on that airplane, and I've actually opened up a ticket with the dev so that they can take a look at it. It's a brand new product. I don't know it that well, but one thing that I've done is because of that one issue, I mean, I took off from Tampa last night, made a left turn, was climbing out, maybe 2 to 3 minutes out, the screen went completely black, and I'm sitting there going, oh, great. And wasn't sure what to do. I thought I'd cancel the flight, but then I thought, well, let me check to see if the issue is this new software. Because really what I wanted was something, as Q8 Pilot said, it's something that you set and then you forget about. That's what I wanted. I don't want to have to deal with this lighting change. So I came to this, my screen was black, I clicked this, and all of a sudden I could see everything. So I knew it was this program, and I went up here, clicked plugins, plugin manager, killed it, restarted it, and then it was fine, and it was fine the whole flight. And I flew with it yesterday in this airplane for a good hour, I would say, maybe around there. It had no issues whatsoever. So it may be some sort of a weird thing with the TBM, you know, or something else. I'm not exactly sure, but I've opened up a ticket. Maybe they can help me look at it. If that issues, oh, and I'm running, this is 4K, by the way, you're seeing, you know, 1080p, and I'm running HDR on my display. So something, you know, whatever, that's what you're seeing. And so overall, you know, if it's stable, I love it. I think it takes away the eternal cloudy day thing. X-plane graphics are nowhere close to FS 2020 graphics, but their planes are light years beyond FS 2020. So, you know, this brings it up a notch. X-plane has a lot of work to do, but it makes it enjoyable because I love flying these planes. They are beautiful airplanes. Let's go back to daytime. Okay. And the excessive shadows, that's Orbix stuff, you know. But I mean, that looks pretty good. And I've got ground shadows turned on at this airport too. Yeah, I can tell this is Greg Real because see how vibrant those reds are. You know, that makes me wonder if this is excessive amount of contrast. That I've played with these. The one I will caution you against is lift. I'll be curious to see if somebody can make lift actually look good. It tends to mush things out at night, but I've left lift alone because of that. Gamma and gain, you can see, well, I go back and forth moving these around. Contrast, if I go to Greg Real to, so you see the red, how it pops out, and that's what I'm trying. That's what I did by reducing the contrast. You can play with these. Saturation is also interesting. Really, I think 90% of the good stuff is, let's see. There, right there. That's where you can make all the necessary adjustments. And that's contrast, lift, gamma, gain, temperature, and saturation. And then you've got the sepia thing that just makes everything look yellowish. Film grain, I don't know, just because they could. Vignette, this shadows out the edges. It makes the edges look darker. Got a tiny bit turned on. Oh, you know, very subtle though. You know, but you can really darken it up. That's great for the film stuff. You know, if you're making a film. What are you doing? And sharpening. It does sharpen quite a bit. Let's see if I can show that. Yeah, you can really make out the textures. It's overdone down here. I think you'd really, and this is a 4K model, by the way. This company's got 4K textures. Yeah, you just have to find a balance there. But it's subtle, but your subconscious, I think, would notice that. Sorry, what is it doing? Okay. I don't have to worry about this, but I'll do the depth of field thing. I believe this one is... Oh, wait. Oh, that's field of view. Now I've got, yeah, I'm not going to mess with that. That's actually controlled by X camera on my machine. Thank God, because I can set different fields of view all over the place. So it's this one that's interesting. Look at that. This one costs, but I mean, if you want to have a cool effect, and boy, the frames have gone down. Cool effect. But, you know, and it does that automatically, see? Move it up and down. So, you want to practice your instruments, there's a way to do it. And I've got two views here. I could make a view that looks up and down. Well, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But, you know, the frame rate cost, I'm sitting at 32 right now. Okay, let's see what happens here. No, it's still on. This yoke. Oh. Let's take manual focus. I'm going to shut it off. So I got 32 frames. And now I've got 40. So pretty hefty co-op. Now it's down to 19. It's still on. I'm not going to save that. Oh, there's default. 47 frames. So yeah, it appears to be some cost. Let's go back to, let's check that frame rate thing out again. It seems to be only 41. Yeah. So yeah, so it's going to cost you 10 frames if you use that when you're flying. And, you know, probably precious a few places you want to do that at. But I hope this was useful. I don't think there's anything really else to cover. I covered night, I covered evening, you know, covered the various different effects. You can see what my current settings are. These are, you know, some Greg Real, and there's vibrant. And again, this is the middle of the day. Even vibrant just really is good. You know, but you know, I got up this morning and I said, you know, I want to see if I can push it and make it even brighter. You know, make it to where you have to put sunglasses on. You feel like you need to put sunglasses on. But yeah, I mean, look, pretty good. I'm pleased if I can, if it's stable. I'm pleased if I don't have to mess with it at all. You know, it would be it's a nice thing, a step forward. And you know, I hope this product does well. I hope X-Plane keeps moving in these directions. All right, so thank you for watching. If you liked it, if you want to see more things like that, just, you know, like it and leave a comment. I'll answer, and